Well, Sixer Nation, we have breaking news just as of a few minutes ago, and it's not the good kind either. Let's break it all down.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Philly Take with RB, number one show for Sixers fans, covering the team 24/7, always breaking it all down. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show right now, hit the bell. Don't miss any of the content. Just as a quick reminder, we will be back resuming our live play-by-play and reaction, analysis, and breakdown show during the Sixers-Wizards game tonight. We'll be live almost every game going forward, so be sure to tap in at 7 p.m. Sixers taking on the Wizards, trying to get another W. It would be their third straight. Definitely trying to get back on track, so tune into that. We'll talk about this more, but before we get into that, we have to cover a quick bit of news that just came out a little while ago. Just as of a few minutes ago, we have some news, and like I said, it's not the kind you really want to hear either. According to Shams, the NBA has taken away the Sixers' second-round picks in 2023 and 2024 for early free agency discussions last offseason. A little bit more onto this. An NBA statement put out, and it says they announced that the Sixers violated league rules governing the timing of this season's free agency discussions, and that the league has rescinded Philly's second-round pick in 2023 and 24. The rescindment of 2 draft picks reflected findings following an investigation that the Sixers engaged in free agency discussions involving 2 players, PJ Tucker and Danuel House Jr., prior to the date when such discussions were permitted. Also, a little bit more. Shams reports here that the league's investigation found that no wrongdoing was occurring with James Harden's $15 million pay cut, which obviously has been a big topic of discussion, but findings showed that the Sixers made early free agency discussions with House and PJ Tucker. And Woj says the NBA and the NBA Players Association expected to revisit the rules that would punish teams discovered to have had discussions with player agents on pending free agents ahead of the free agency's official start. The practice is rampant but hard to police and largely impossible to eliminate. And I think it says everything right there. I think he puts it perfectly. It's hard to eliminate. Okay, this happens. It happens a lot. Now, obviously, you know, this is something that has been on the hot seat, right? It's been on the stove for a couple months now. It's been brewing. They've been talking about this, the Sixers, this and that. If you have heard me talk about this before, I just have a couple issues with this. Are the Sixers in the wrongdoing? I guess if they talked before the legal date or the official date, yeah, I guess they are. And sure, you know, they deserve to get their picks taken away. I think this happened to the Raptors with Kyle Lowry. I'm sorry, the Heat with Kyle Lowry. And the Chicago Bulls, I believe, with Lonzo Ball, they were docked picks as well. Obviously, the Sixers are kind of limited on their draft picks right now, given recent trades and stuff. So, yeah, this hurts. This kind of sucks. I mean, I was looking forward to, you know, having more picks, and now we get stripped not just one, but 2 of them back-to-back years. Not too good for this team. My issue falls with the fact that, one, there happens to be a lot of occurrences of this, right? And I just don't understand. You know, the Sixers, yes, they came out and they signed PJ Tucker, Danuel House. Essentially what happened was Daryl Morey, James Harden, all the old Rocket guys were talking to their old players, their old teammates, right? They knew they wanted to get some dogs in here, some extra pieces. And yeah, they went out and tried to, you know, have a little recruiting pitch, and they tried to bring their guys in. It worked, and they were ready to go on the first day of free agency. Here's my issue, though. How many other teams did the same thing, right? Jalen Brunson with the Knicks, he had already agreed to that weeks before. He knew he was leaving Dallas. He was already a New York Knick. Got announced on the first night right away. Nothing has happened to them. Who else? DeAndre Jordan, of all people, signed with the Denver Nuggets a couple seconds into free agency. There were countless others. Other teams do this. This always happens. It's like this rule where there's like an allowable limit, right? Like we know it happens, but it's still illegal. You know what I mean? And honestly, it just doesn't make sense. Like if these other teams get penalized, fine. You know, we're all in the wrong. Okay. But if the Sixers end up as the result here, and they're the only ones that get docked to these picks, I just don't understand. Another thing that bugs me is that you have all these NBA reporters, and I get it. They are independent of the NBA. They have jobs to do. They report. But how come, you know, days leading up, right? Obviously, we have the moratorium period where, you know, they can talk, they can negotiate, right? And then it ends up being finalized. And I'm not going to say I know the whole process 100%, but I have a pretty good idea, right? But before that, right, like they publicized this date so much, July 1st, July 2nd, whatever it is. This is the day where free agency starts, right? It's like one of the most exciting days of the NBA offseason. Everybody's got Twitter geared up. We're all ready to watch, Woj tweet out 10 signings at one time. We're ready to watch Shams tweet out a bunch of signings at one time. We're all anticipating what's going to happen, right? They already know. They have these, sources and this information in advance. And all these reporters do, who people rely on very much to, for information and who's going to sign where and all this stuff. They hype it up. They hype it up so much, and they put this stuff out. X player, Y player is leaning towards signing a 3-year deal with so-and-so once free agency begins. So-and-so is leaning towards doing this when free agency begins. They allow this to be so hyped up. They make it like this. And honestly, it puts pressure and it puts stress on these teams, because if they're already hearing that so-and-so player is already, talking to this team, well, they're going to have to up their sales pitch. That might allow them, to put all their eggs in one basket and not be able to go after another player. So there's just a lot of mix-up, a lot of, miscommunication, in my opinion. And I feel like this has always happened, right? But there's only certain teams that get targeted. And, if you ask PJ Tucker, if you ask Daniel House, even Trevelin Queen got signed at the same time. If you ask these guys, I'm sure the Sixers were probably top on their radar. Again, given the circumstances I talked about. I'm not going to sit here and complain and say we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, according to their findings and their investigation, the Sixers had communication before that, initial date, and I'm sure they did. But, at the end of the day, Sixers are cooperating with the investigation. Where are the other teams at, right? Like I said, Jalen Brunson was already in Nick. Like, there are other examples of this, and I just don't think there's a concrete system in place for the rule. And they just need to fix it going forward. They need to, expand it, do whatever you need, because the Sixers are going to hurt from this, losing a couple second-round picks that they could use as negotiation tactics, or, go out and get a couple players, right? Look at the past couple guys. I know they're not here anymore. Charles Bassey, Isaiah Joe. You can find some pieces in the second round, and, it just sucks that we lose some of these pieces. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Sixers, like they said in the statement, will continue moving forward. They said they're focused on the season ahead. I guess we just have to look forward. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't think we should be too happy about this. But those are just my quick thoughts on the situation. Like I said, come out tonight. We'll be live Sixers Wizards, and we'll continue to talk about it. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. We keep you up to date on every single piece of information. With that being said, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.